Jesus said, "Man cannot live on bread alone, but from every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." You're listening to Daily Truth.
Also, don't be led astray by not just diverse doctrines, things that God actually said under the old covenant that are now fulfilled, but by strange doctrines, aka things God never said. Things God never said. And what does he use as his case study, as his example? It is good for the heart to be strengthened by grace and not by foods which have not benefited those devoted to them. Again, just like verse 8, Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It's not random. This too is not random. What we're meant to assume as we seek to interpret the meaning of this text is that in their context, within Judaism predominantly, perhaps there were also some Gentile pagan religions that had the same principle or concept, but likely within Judaism, the diverse doctrines, the old covenant ceremonial stipulations, don't be distracted by those, and certainly don't be distracted by the strange doctrines that some of these current priests and religious rulers with esteem within Judaism are adding that God never said in the first place. In other words, what's probably was going on in that context in Israel at the time with these Hebrew Christians, they would have been subject to this, is that certain rabbis, certain priests, certain scribes were insisting that by eating certain meats sacrificed, not to false gods, but sacrificed in the temple, under Judaism, that if you ate this sacrifice, it would give you this form of strength. If you ate that sacrifice, that whole burnt offering that was sacrificed with this ritual at this time by this priest, if you ate the meat of that sacrifice, it had these kinds of properties, benefits that would be a grace to you, that would strengthen you, that would produce for you some kind of advantage. And I think what the apostle is getting at and saying strange doctrines is saying this not only is this something that God has fulfilled in Christ and therefore you don't need to be distracted by anymore. This is something that was never even a thing. God never even said that you're going to be strengthened by certain foods in a mystical way. And some kind of religious sentiment that there's certain properties of this goat that was sacrificed on this day by this priest in this place, that if I eat, this portion of the animal, then I'm going to have this benefit and this advantage. That's not a thing. That was never a thing. Not only are there certain ceremonial rites and laws and codes that you no longer need to adhere to because Christ has finished this, Christ has fulfilled this, but these are things that were never ceremonial rites or codes. These are things that God never spoke, that God never presented. These are just the doctrines of men. This is where certain religious rulers have gone too far.